Right now, 40% of fourth graders can't read. We're witnessing the collapse of the American education system.
That's fucking crazy.
I teach 8th grade history, and I have 110-ish students. 2 of them are reading on grade level right now. 18 of them are at a kindergarten level. 55 of those students are between a 2nd and 4th grade level. We were doing guided notes, supposed to be a real easy day. It was review. They wrote down Maryland was founded as a safe haven for Catholics. It was on the board. They wrote it down. And before we moved on, I call on a student and I ask, hey, where were the Catholics one more time? And these students, what they do is they look at me and then they look at their notes and then they look at the board. They look back at their notes. And some of them never answered me.
You got all these kids that are given technology to keep them like pacified, essentially. Because like, what are the parents of these kids even doing? They're giving them iPads. They're giving them fucking phones at like such a young age. It's affecting them 150%, dude. Like, what else could be causing this like such a dip in terms of like focus? And like, they all have ADHD apparently now. They all can't fucking focus. They all can't do any basic fucking tasks because they're living their life glued to a fucking phone or an iPad, telling them all the answers or telling them everything. So like, of course they're going fucking essentially mentally disfigured. Like, why aren't these parents stopping this stuff from happening? Like, it's on the, like, in my opinion, it's all on the fucking parents for allowing their kids to have this technology at such a young age.
Figured out the answer. It was wild. And I kept giving them hints, like rephrasing the question and saying, like, it's in your notes. We just wrote it down. Where are the Catholics? It's on the board. And they never got it.
And the fucking funny thing about all this is you know that these kids' parents are like, my kid is so bright and intelligent. My kid is the brightest kid in his school. You know what I mean? No, he's
Like,
not. He's a dummy.
They can't make heads
Because
or tails
you
of it.
allow him to go on the internet every day,
These
day to day,
kids
constantly,
have a
without his brain
frightening
fully
ability
growing first
for
before
information
then
to go
going to
from
the
their
internet. I feel
eyes
like that's a big
to their
thing.
hands and not pass through the brain at all.
What she described is terrifying. The information goes through their eyes, down through their hands, without passing through their brains. But this isn't an isolated incident. This is nationwide. I looked up the actual numbers. Only 23% of fourth graders can read at a proficient level. Just 23%. Then we have the 8th graders. Only 26% are reading proficiently.
I think that is like one of the worst things they could have done, is introduce the technology into school and make that like a main thing. Because I feel like you should be taught in pencil and paper and not with technology. Because it forces this reliance on it. And on top of that, like I said before, also like the parents are doing that. They're forcing they're giving their kids these tools they shouldn't have yet. No child under the age of like fucking like 15 or 14 should have a fucking laptop and a phone and all that shit, dude. That's my thought process, at least.
I've been teaching since
It's
1993.
literally ruining
yes,
these kids'
we have
lives for later down the
always had
line,
kids
probably.
who struggle to focus. But what's happening now is on a whole other level. Do you remember how it used to feel when the teacher would pull out the cart with the big TV and the VCR attached? Yeah, not anymore. Now I've got kids asking to skip it. They literally can't just sit and watch.
I'm a 90s kid, so I know exactly
Yeah,
what she's
I know what she's talking about, too.
When that rinky-dink TV rolled
Yeah, I
into the
remember we watched
classroom,
like, what did we watch? Like the Truman Show. We watched some weird shit. Most of it was mainly like, you know, educational, but sometimes they would let us watch like other stuff.
that was the best day ever. But today's kids are overstimulated. TV is not cutting it. When we were growing up, they said we watched too many cartoons. Now kids don't even want cartoons. It's not enough stimulation. They get bored.
Look at that shit. That
Kids
should be
today
considered
are
child
growing
abuse.
up watching Cocomelon and YouTube Shorts, content that's meant to hold attention for seconds at a time. And now we're asking them to sit in a classroom for hours with no screens and no stimulation. Of course, they're going to roam around yelling 6, 7. They're having withdrawal symptoms.
Honey,
Yeah,
teaching kids
that's
isn't
true.
the same anymore. It's just not. Used to be kids would listen to
They're
teachers
literally a
simply
bunch of
because they were
fucking
teachers
drug
that was
addicts at this
respected and all.
point.
Now, no, honey, I got to keep the kids constantly engaged. Not even just engaged, but almost overstimulated. The candy isn't even working anymore. Giving out candy for positive reinforcement doesn't even work anymore. They don't care about that. Girl, bye, I got kids saying 6-7 repeatedly. They don't even know how to spell 6-7. Catching me doing this mid-lecture, just to see if they're paying attention. You watching?
It's
Hello,
like you're juggling
there?
titties, dude. What the fuck?
Girl, it's so bad now. It's so bad.
TVs don't work, candy isn't working. The only thing that grabs their attention is TikTok memes.
Scimpanzini bananini, wah wah wah, bananucci monkey 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 uchi, or scimpanzini cocosini.
Is this really what these kids are fucking watching? Like, is this actually seriously what they're fucking watching? This is actually pure fucking cancer fuel. This is straight up pond scum. What is this?
Wah wah wah, boop boop bada bim, coconucci monkey monkey
Beep,
monkey
beepity boppity
uchi.
boopity boop. When I was growing up, I did all kinds of stuff. I watched TV, I played games, I watched a fuck ton of movies. Never ever did that stuff affect my ability to learn, comprehend, and understand. I think that's, did I just say learn and comprehend? I feel like that's like kind of the same thing. Whatever. I'm a little fucking stupid, whatever. But compared to these kids, I'm a goddamn fucking genius. Their brains can't even fucking fully develop. Like she said, they're overstimulated. And like, what's anyone doing about that? Nothing. No one cares. They're just, oh, go on, just watch your iPad, Lily, or whatever the fuck your name is. It's just, it's sad, man, that these parents are doing this to their kids. You know, make them watch a movie or make them watch something else that isn't fucking TikTok or shorts or whatever. They just should not, it should be illegal for them to even like, hey man, like clearly there's something going on with the internet being part of children's lives.
Acquiring users, Gen Z was the first generation to grow up on social media, and they're the most anxious, most depressed, loneliest generation on record. And now Gen Alpha isn't just growing up on social media, they also have generative AI.
Okay, this is
That's
becoming
true.
a genuinely concerning issue. As a substitute teacher, I am encountering a really concerning number of students who truly do not see any value in learning because, as one of the 4th and 5th graders that I was teaching the other day asked me, why do I need to know any of this if a computer or AI can do it for me?
Which is the worst thing you can do. You're essentially ruining your ability to problem solve. But it's like, okay, well, if AI can do it, it's like, yeah, but what if the internet goes out? What if you have no electricity for that day? How do you answer basic fucking problems? It's very bad for a development of a child or even anything to just rely on AI for every single fucking thing that you do.
We can just take a look at the subreddit Kids Are Stupid to see proof that kids do not think long term. They don't have the mental capacity to fully think through their actions. So how is a teacher supposed to convince a student to learn how to read when that student believes that the AI can just read for them? How do they convince them to learn to write when they can talk to ChatGPT and it'll write for them? Spelling, why
Now just remember, these kids are going to grow up and be the next workforce eventually.
bother? Grammar, who
We're
cares?
talking about a fucking total
History,
collapse
civics,
here.
critical thinking. The AI has all the answers.
Maybe
and
not a
all
total
a child
collapse,
sees
but-
is a path of least resistance. They don't understand that to struggle is to learn and to grow.
What are you doing?
GPT.
I know, but what are you doing?
I'm doing school.
Are you doing school on ChatGPT?
Mhm.
How old are you?
3.
AI is going to change everything. AI makes you so much more efficient. AI can do it for you. Why would a child invest in learning when every adult around them is saying that machines will do it better? We're creating learned helplessness at scale.
I'm going to start with saying that teachers are not afraid of AI because we hate technology. We are scared because we are watching critical thinking disappear in real time. When I was in high school, my math teachers would say, you got to know how to do this because you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket.
They were fucking wrong. They were totally fucking wrong about that, obviously. You basically have to use basic problem solving to be like, okay, you have to make a problem to then solve it so you can understand how that works. To even put it in the fucking calculator. You say like an example, like you said, okay, let's say you said I make $1,000 a week, right? 50 weeks out of the year. So you would then be like, okay, 50 times 1,000. You have to have at least some basic critical thinking to understand how that would work.
It's not a fair comparison because calculators replace computation after we learned how math worked. AI shows up before students ever learn how to think through a problem.
This is what people miss when they compare AI to calculators. It's not just math, it's literally every subject, including thinking itself. And we now
That's
have
true.
more research on AI and cognition. Students who use AI show weaker reasoning skills. They accept answers without questioning them. Researchers call it cognitive offloading.
World full of
They develop
mindless
this
fucking
pattern of
slaves.
generating first
That's where we're
and
on our way
thinking
to.
later. And the scary part is these studies are showing cognitive decline in adults. AI is doing this to adults, then what is it doing to a brain that's still forming? But I want to discuss who's actually incentivized to have AI in the classrooms. We already know what social media was designed to do, and we know the future design because Mark Zuckerberg has been quite open about that. He thinks AI can fill the gaps in your friendships. He's exploiting the loneliness caused by his own apps.
The world has changed so much because of the internet. And I honestly think for most part it's for the worse. Now there's all these bragging fucking people being like, hey, look, I'm 21 and I'm a fucking millionaire and all this shit. And you got to see the shit. Well, you're going back to work every day making your peanuts, and this fucking moron influencer is making millions of dollars being a terrible, disingenuous human being, let alone like real conversations with real people, which are slowly going away, I feel like, as people get more and more tribalistic. On top of, you know, using social media to replace actual human interaction.
In an interview, Shazir said, I joke that we're not going to replace Google, we're going to replace your mom. And then there's Sam Altman.
People talk about the most personal shit in their lives to ChatGPT. Young people especially, like, use it as a therapist, a life coach, having these relationship problems. What should I do?
The data shows teacher shortages were being reported on back in 1998, but back then it was fewer than 30% of states. Fast forward to today, and it's 86% of school districts that can't fill their position.
Well, yeah, because on top of that, you've got these fucking parents that are just terrible people that always just want to try to sue. Of course they're going to, like, you can't tell my kid how to, it's like, well, your kid needs to act a certain fucking way according to, like, at least something here. Teachers should have at least some sort of, like, way to, like, do something about these crazy behaviors these kids have. And they should honestly cut most computers out of school. You remove that technology, and you'd probably see an increase in intelligence really fucking quickly.
As a result of having less staff and more students with behavioral issues, teachers are burning out. In fact, teachers have the highest burnout rates of all industries, with 44% reporting always or very often feeling burned out.
Regardless of what you think that your kid is some sort of, like, you know, fucking angel, kids are like literal fucking demons, like, actually, bro. The shit that they do, the shit that they say, not only to each other, but also teachers, they're actual little fucking little fucking demons, man. Little cretins. Disrespectful little fucking peckerheads. All entitled, all thinking they fucking own the universe. Dude, oh my god, I can't even. Even when I was growing up, there were so many little douchebags. Did I do some stuff? Absolutely I did, because I was a little
92,000
fucker and peckerhead
likes.
too,
The
but
algorithm
nowhere near
found
as bad
every
as
burnt-out teacher
some of the
in
other kids, let's say
America.
that.
But who truly benefits from a population that can't read, can't write, can't think critically, and ask questions?
Well, and that's another thing with all those fucking laptops, all that shit, all that technology that's being added to schools. Like, that costs money. That costs insane. I don't even want to know how much money that costs to upgrade your fucking computers every couple of years or whatever and all that. That's why I said going pencil to paper is so much better in so many ways. You could save so much fucking money, and maybe even fucking children's education.
Is a dramatic decline in basic critical reasoning skills and basic literacy skills among students. This is particularly pronounced among high school age students, where they're engaging with more complex material and can't grasp basic concepts or manage basic memory about those concepts. And what this is creating is a generation entering the workforce without basic comprehension skills.
It's gonna be a rough road for a lot of fucking people. There's gonna be a lot of fucking dummies are like running around in the next coming like 10 years. I tell you what, man.